Hi, Rich Carrubba for bowlingball.com. So you want to learn about how bowling balls are made? Well, in 3 or 4 minutes on this video, I can't tell you everything about it, but I'm going to give you some highlights. But I'm going to start by telling you, please, we're going to ask you, we've put an article up for everyone to read on Bowlversity section of our site, how bowling balls are made. Please read it because it's unlike any other articles that we've seen on the internet, and it might give you an overview from different perspectives about how bowling balls are made. But ultimately, it's what's important for you to know. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to hit on the high points. First of all, the two things that are the major components of a bowling ball, obviously, are the core, the inner design components of the ball, and then, of course, the cover stock. Because when a bowling ball is made, they build the core first. And the core can be designed symmetrically or asymmetrically. In other words, pretty stable and balanced for an even roll, something to rev up quickly like on heavy oil, or something to give you some length potential, an asymmetric core, which creates a little more ball flare, a little more skid potential, and then it can even have weight blocks on it or certain shapes where more of the mass is biased to one portion of the weight block compared to another. And ultimately, that'll lead to a higher differential or higher flare potential, the ability to of the ball to hook from the break point to the pocket. So just the designs of the cores. Sometimes they're multiple pieces. Sometimes they're one with just a different shape. It's up to the manufacturer what they're trying to accomplish with a given ball. The object is for you to find a ball that works best for you on the conditions you're searching for. So knowing a little bit about is the core symmetrical, asymmetrical, does it have a low RG? Or a higher RG, a low RG revving up quickly, typically symmetrical cores, and higher RGs, typically asymmetrical cores. Those are the things you want to know about when you select a core for a bowling ball. Now, what the manufacturers do is they put the core, after it's done, after the whole process is completed building the core, it sits inside the mold where the urethane is going to be injected, the cover stock material, and it's held in place by a urethane stem, which when it's all cut down and finished off, it's colored on top and it's known as the pin. And that locates where the heavier part of the bowling ball is located, the central part of the bowling ball. Basically, it's positioned right in the weight block to hold the core in place while the injection process is going on. And it's the portion of that weight block that's identified with the color pin. And it can be used to wrap an outer core around it evenly. You can even wrap an outer core around the inner core inside the mold. Then they can inject the urethane into the mold itself, which pours the cover stock. It sounds confusing. It really isn't. It's a simple core held by a pin or a stem, an outer wrapper around the inner core, and then of course pour or inject the urethane in the mold. And then once the urethane sets up and the ball's pulled out of the mold, they screen it down and finish it off to where it is a bowling ball, and it's screened off to give the appearance that you see it out of the box. It'll either be highly polished, a pearlized cover stock, and finely screened and polished finish on it, or it might be a more textured finish, a 500,000 grit finish, for example, that's going to be very pliable and very aggressive solid cover stock, which will grip the lane and good for heavy oil. Those are the things that you need to find out about the ball. And if you read the article, it'll bring you through it a little bit more carefully and tell you about all the procedures and steps that are necessary. Cover stocks, one word about those is they can be varied slightly with the chemical composition and by the number of additives, the type of materials, the density of the fiber structure and the materials itself can determine is it an aggressive cover stock or not. And they typically classify the cover stocks as plastic, urethane, reactive resin, urethane, hybrid reactive, and particle materials. All are typically urethane derivatives, but they're all prepared and processed differently to give you the different type of cover stock characteristics so you can eventually find a ball to match up to the given lane condition that you're seeking for where you bowl most commonly. Now, sometimes these screening procedures on these bowling balls will finish the ball off to be as versatile as possible. These manufacturers are getting smarter and smarter. They build the ball for a certain condition, but they want the cover stock versatile enough to change the length potential, to skid further or to roll a little sooner and transition more quickly in the mid lane than further down the lane, depending on the distance of the oil pattern you're bowling on or the volume of oil condition that you select to use that ball on. They want the ball to be versatile, and they want you to have some abilities to further make the ball versatile by changing the amount of flare from the break point to the pocket by the layout pattern you choose. The drilling pattern you choose can influence the hook potential of the ball from the break point to the pocket. You can get a little sharper action on it or a little more moderate action if the back ends are drier on shorter oil, for example. So you have some versatility in these bowling balls you buy, and you can, by choosing the right layout pattern and modifying the surface and developing a strategy accordingly, and knowing what kind of ball you buy initially, that will help you at the end achieve the results you're looking for. Well, it's a little confusing, but I hope some of this information helps you. Please read the article. It'll give you a more in-depth understanding of what goes into building a bowling ball. There's a lot to it. We didn't give any proprietary secrets away, by the way. Anyhow, hope this helps, and thank you very much.